like and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Of all the wanton discoveries on the seafloor after the crash of the Titanic, we beam our flashlight on 10 of them. Top on the list is a letter written to a beloved one, a telegraph that alerted the world of impending doom, and the Cherub statue used to decorate the stairs. Stay tuned for our best pick at number 3. Ready? Let's go! Number 10. Musical instrument. Over 100 years after the Titanic tragedy, a violin owned by a band leader aboard the ship was discovered. The instrument was used by Wallace Hartley and was believed to be lost in one of the most famous disasters known to man. However, in 2016, the musician's son found the instrument in the attic with its full silver plate. After several years of testing, researchers confirmed to the world that the instrument was the same one played by Hartley. Minutes after an iceberg hit the Titanic ship, the musician was asked to gather his team and play music to calm the crew members and passengers. He obliged and played the famous hymn, "Nearer My God to Thee." He, alongside other band members, perished with the 1,500 passengers and crew members as their vessel sank. The violin is still well preserved despite being exposed to the sea for long. Hartley's fiancée gave him the violin in 1910 to mark their engagement. It was engraved with these words, "For Wallace on the occasion of our engagement, from Maria." The violin is said to be worth millions of dollars today. Number 9. Men's shoe. After the Titanic sank, images of personal effects like clothes and shoes lying on the ocean floor flooded the internet. The 2004 photograph shows a coat and some boots in the mud at the legendary shipwreck site. The discovery was made after an emotional memorial service was held at the exact spot where the ship sank over a century ago. It's believed that the shoes fell off of someone's back while the scuffle with the ship was going on. Further images were taken during an expedition led by NOAA and Robert Ballard, a famous Titanic finder. The New York Times was the first to report sightings like this. James Cameron had visited the site about 33 times and had seen 0 human remains, but had seen several pairs of shoes. This shows that there was a body at some point, but it had decomposed. Scientists say the shoes discovered underwater are forensic remains of the people. Because of how delicate the site is, Senator John Kennedy introduced strong legislation to protect it from intrusive research. Number 8. A love letter. A rare letter written by a passenger aboard the ill-fated Titanic ship has given an insight into the ordeals of last minutes. It was written by a second-class passenger and a survivor, Kate Buss, on April 10, 1912, after she left Southampton, England. The letter has been with her family since its discovery. She addressed it to Percy James and noted that she received his while on board. She admitted she had been tired since she checked into the ship. She also revealed some events that occurred in the ship before its sinking. She also told her friend that the first-class apartments were amazing, just like the second-class ones. Buss wrote they had not yet reached Cherbourg, France at the time of writing. There were approximately 2,224 people on board the ship, and of that figure, 1,503 perished. The disaster is named one of the deadliest shipwrecks in modern history. Buss concluded her letter by saying she needed to take her bath and would post a letter immediately in case she got seasick the next day. She was one of the lucky passengers that were saved in a lifeboat. Number 7. Vials of perfume. On a 2000 salvage mission, the RMS Titanic Incorporated found a leather pouch. They didn't know what it was until they investigated further. After they brought it to the ship's lab, they opened it. To their amazement, they realized their lab was filled with scent from the Edwardian perfume in the pouch. It contained vials of perfume samples belonging to Adolf Salfed, a perfume maker and a first-class passenger from Manchester. They also found several other pouches bearing that name. When they gathered and counted, it numbered 62 pieces in all. Salfeld survived a disaster but left his perfumes behind as he fled the ship. After the artifacts were retrieved from the depths, his scents had a second life. The perfumes were broken down into component chemicals to recreate the scent. The packaging was inspired by a door brought up from the wreck. Number 6. Inspection card. A Finnish immigrant's boarding pass from the Titanic lying fallow for many years has fetched a mouth-watering sum of $100,000 at an auction. Jeffrey Traynor of Allentown purchased it as it was special to him. The rare document was used as a boarding pass for third-class passengers. It is one of the most expensive memorabilia to hit the auction table. The pass belonged to Anna Sofia Sjöblom of Finland. She had pinned it on her jacket during the voyage. She borrowed $8 to afford the passage on the Titanic after she and 3 of her male friends bumped from another ship. Unfortunately, the ship sank on her birthday. While some say it was her 18th birthday, others argued it was her 20th birthday. She managed to make it onto Lifeboat 16, the same one carrying Bruce Ismay, White Star Line's chairman. Because the boarding pass was pinned to her jacket, it never got wet. 3 of her friends died in the sinking. The pass had been packed into a corner for 6 months until a relative discovered it and sold it to the antique store. Number 5. Telegraph. A wireless telegraph machine known for its role in sending distress messages when the RMS Titanic cruise ship hit an iceberg has been discovered from the bottom of the North Atlantic. The scientists on this expedition hope to recover it from the ocean floor despite facing challenges from critics. Supporters of this mission say it is essential to salvage it before it's lost forever. This telegraph machine sent out distress calls on April 14 and 15, 1912 after the ship hit an iceberg. Underwater video revealed that the machine is almost covered with rust and may soon be undiscoverable if nothing is done fast. The RMS Titanic Incorporated is the only recognized salvager of the Titanic wreck. However, the court ordered that nothing should be detached or removed from the wreck. The company is now asking that the court modify the order to allow them to retrieve the telegraph machine. Using an underwater robot to cut the machine free, the telegraph is valued at about $7 million. The company hopes to recover this from entry fees for its exhibitions of Titanic artifacts. Number 4. Alligator Purse. British millionaire Marion Meanwell boarded the Titanic with her luxury belongings. Among them was an alligator purse. She was moving to the US to live with her daughter and grandchildren. She wasn't supposed to be on the Titanic but made last-minute preparations to join it after the one she initially booked was out of service. She also had her marriage license, a note from her former landlord vouching for her credibility, and a receipt for a canary she was transporting for a relative. She had fit them into her purse. All the papers survived because they were in her purse. The material ensured that these documents were safe from the marine environment. The thickness of the alligator skin is nothing compared to the type we see today. At the time, there was a general attitude of making expensive things durable so that more people would have them. Sadly, Meanwell didn't live to see her grandkids as her life ended abruptly when the ship sank. And to our best pick. Jack and Rose's love story is one of the most exciting before and after the Titanic's crash. However, it remains unclear if Jack did exist. Number 3. Jack. If you have read the story of the Titanic or seen the movie, one of the most interesting aspects of this gist is the life and times of Jack and Rose. These lovebirds were lovers who met aboard the ship and decided to take it to another level. Rose was going to commit suicide by jumping off the stern when he met her and discouraged her. This made them become friends and lovers along the line. Jack was an artist who managed to get a third ticket, while Rose was a rich girl who lounged in the first-class cabinet. Their dreams of spending life together hit the rock after the ship began to sink. Jack forced his lover onto a lifeboat to escape the shipwreck. Long story short, Jack died of hypothermia as he couldn't get into the lifeboat. Therefore, he was buried at sea. Ironically, there are no records of Jack's existence, maybe because he won the ticket and never purchased it under his identity. Scientists have found several remains that could be Jack's, but are not sure since there's no description for the young man. Number 2. A pocket watch. On April 15, 1912, Senai Cantor lost his life after the Titanic plunged into the North Atlantic. His body was later pulled out of the ocean, while some of his belongings were recovered. One of those items was his pocket watch marked with Hebrew letters. The watch was immersed in salt water for many days, so it wasn't in good shape. The hands have deteriorated, the mechanism is rusted, and the dial is stained. However, the watch's elaborate decoration remains visible. On the back is an embossed design of Moses receiving the 10 Commandments. On the face are the Hebrew letters. John Miotel, the owner of the Miotel Museum in California, purchased the watch at an auction for a whopping $57,000. This museum houses lots of timepieces that belong to Titanic victims. Sinai was aboard this ship with his wife Miriam. The couple had planned to relocate to America to begin a new life there, but the dream never came to fruition. While Miriam survived, her husband didn't. His items were handed over to her, but a direct descendant later sold them.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 1. Cherub Statue. Cherub statues served as decor throughout the Titanic and were found along the 5-level grand staircase. The staircase was also decorated with carvings, candelabras, and oak paneling. This Cherub statue was discovered on September 1st, 1985 by Paul Henry Nargile, the director of the underwater research program for the RMS Titanic Incorporated. This piece is the only one recovered from the wreckage. Its small size suggests it was kept on a smaller staircase aboard the ship. It's believed that the first-class staircase of this ship was similar to her sister ship Olympic. Much of what was in her sister ship was replicated in the Titanic as they were constructed simultaneously. There are no photos of the Titanic's interior, but of the Olympics. It is believed that the manufacturers didn't bother taking pictures of the Titanic because its interior was similar to the sister ship. See you next time!